everybody, welcome to a Facebook Live with Jeannie. I am Jeannie Nielsen, the card lady, and I'm very excited to be here with you today. I missed you yesterday. I wasn't feeling that great. Truth be told, I'm still not feeling that great, but I kind of felt like if I don't get to it now, I'm not going to ever get to it. So I have a fun Facebook Live for you today. I had a Stamp-A-Stack last weekend and we did 3 easy cards, and I have to tell you that cards are not all that, simple cards are not easy for me. But I decided to go out of my comfort zone. I collaborated with my friend Judy and we made a couple of simple cards for a Stamp-A-Stack, and I remade them because I want to be able to offer them to you if you order with me today. The fun thing is this uses the Painted Christmas paper. Now, I know Judy did one with Painted Christmas too. I don't know what she did for her projects. I didn't see it. I think I was working that night. I had I was doing something, so I was on my way home from work. So I missed her Facebook Live. But I did my own, and we'll see how close we are. Judy's going to have to tell me. But anyway, let's get to this. Let's see how this is going to go. I'm not feeling that great. I got my water bottle. I've got my tissues here. If I need to sniffle once in a while, excuse me, but we are going to have fun today, though. Okay, so let me flip down and we will check out the cards that I have. Let's see if this is going to work. I think it is. Okay, I'm going to flip down so don't get dizzy. Here we go. Okay, so I won't see your comments right now, but let's see. I'm trying to get all my mess out of the way. There we go. And these are the cards. So the cards today, like I said, use the Painted Christmas paper. Along with that, last year in that suite was the Christmas to Remember stamp set. And I decided to use that for my sentiments. But I'm using a couple of extra things. I'm using the bow punch, which is in the annual catalog. I've got some jingle bell ornaments here to accent this. I've got the new decorative circle punch here, along with our evening evergreen glimmer paper. So we've got that. I'm using stylish shapes, and here again the bow punch. So bow punch is super easy to make these cards wow cards without doing a lot of extra die cutting and extra work. So these are the 3 cards that we're going to make tonight. Let's see how this is going to go. I've got everything ready to go, I think. We will see. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the first card we are going to make is going to be the garden green one. So let me set these out of the way. This is garden green, 5.5 by 8.5 inches. This was a remake of a card that Judy made. It's the 4 by 5.25 inch basic white layer is embossed with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and the timber folder, which I really, really like. Gives it a wood look. So here we have our, let me get the pieces out. I've got it ready to go. The only thing I did not do was punch from the, with the bow punch. So I've already embossed because I wanted to make sure I had it done. Sorry, a little squeaky once in a while. I'm going to attach this layer right here to our garden green layer. And of course, if you place a $35 order with me, you can get these cards. Sorry. If you place a $50 order, I'm going to add an embellishment to that as well. But here we go. I've used a couple of different ribbons along the way. But here we go. So what I'm going to do next is stamp the sentiment. And like I said, I used Christmas to Remember for the sentiment. And I've got my garden green ink, which was just out of reach. Isn't that so funny? Not surprising. I usually forget at least one thing. Anne was nice enough last year to help me by putting the labels on here. And this sentiment says, "Friends like you make the season special." Really easy. When I'm putting it on the block, even though it has the label on the back, I really like to make sure that I am lining it up with the block so that I can trust the block, because you know, you can't always trust the label. Well, we're going to do our best and hope for the best. Here we go. I think that's pretty close. Okay, so tap, tap, tap. You don't need to smush it in there. I'm going to tap, tap, tap. And you know what I like to do too? When I'm using these ink pads, besides everybody stamps in the middle, you go to the outside too, because that's where a lot of the ink is smushed too when you are using the ink pad. So if you're ever having trouble getting a nice complete image, it's quite possible that the ink has moved out of the center. Hold it there for a second. Voila, there we go. That's our first sentiment that we're stamping. And like I said, this is the Christmas to Remember stamp set. It's been around for a year, but I do have to tell you there are lots of sentiments because this is a very standard size, this square. You can use the Fitted and Festive, which is one of our new sentiment sets that goes with the Fitted Florals, Fitted Florets, I'm sorry, suite right now that's on special, a special promotion. I have to tell you the funniest thing was I have a friend who says that florets is a stupid name and she calls it broccoli. I just think that's the funniest thing. So maybe I'll start to call it broccoli too, but it's the Festive Broccoli stamp set, the sentiment set that you want that could also work here. There are also other stamps, of course, that you can go through your stamps that you have at home and just substitute. That's all I have to do for that. This is a 2" by 5 1/4" piece of designer paper, which means you could get 24. Am I doing that right? Let's see. No, maybe, yes, 24 out of a whole pack of paper because, of course, 6 across times 2 sheets. Okay, this is probably one of my favorite papers in there. No, I'm gonna take that back because you're gonna see that there are other papers that are also my favorites. Because this is garden green, I'm going to use a scrap of garden green. When I'm punching, I don't want to waste a whole lot of my thing. I want to make sure that I can get more than I need to out of a piece of paper. And well, first of all, I'm going to go up as far as I can. And the other thing that I'm going to do, I have some score lines in here. This was a scrap piece that came out of my bin and I don't mind if it has the score line because those score lines are going to be hidden underneath my square. And then in order to do that, rather than going up here again, if I flip this, I'm going to be able to get another piece easily. So there we go. These are our 2 green boughs. And now we just need the red berries. And to me, this looks exactly the same. So what I'm going to do is go right here and I can see my scrap paper. I'm going to just put it in at the bottom. I like to use the strips when I have pieces of paper like this because it's really easy to control and not have too much waste of your paper. Let me put this out of the way for a second. We are going to use this bow punch again in a little bit. So now what I'm going to do, I am going to attach these punch outs to the back of my square. And you know what I like to do? I like to use the dimensionals, which is first of all going to pop it up, but also will do a really good job of holding these in their place. So I'll do it like that. I've got one more, and I put this in the other corner. I don't want it to look quite the same, so I'll just kind of turn it a little bit like that maybe. We'll see. I'm going to use the dimensional again to hold it in place. Let's put another dimensional in that corner. And maybe one in this corner, and probably one in the center. Now, there are people that might use 15 dimensionals for this. I use so many dimensionals that I use them a little bit sparingly, but do it enough so that your image is not going to cave in. And what we're going to do is drop it there, and voila. If I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to move, I could just take a drop of glue. And you'll see what I did. I just added a tiny drop of glue there, and I'll just use that to stick it down. And maybe I'll do the same on this one, just so that they're not bouncing around. There we go. And ta-da, that's our first card. Wasn't that easy? And yes, I did some prep work, but seriously, from start to finish, I bet I could do this card. Having the pieces cut out, except for maybe die cutting this, you know, die cutting the square and embossing, I bet I could do this card in 5 minutes, knowing that it's designed. So you can make multiples of this very quickly. Card number 1. Now you can also add embellishments like the metallic dots. I forgot to add them. Don't even have them close by, so we're going to go with it. This is card number 1. Okay, so let's see what is in envelope number 2. Envelope number 2 is the soft suede card. Okay, the soft suede card is this one. My favorite card. I just love this distress gold paper. And for any of you that are sad that it's not around right now, it's not in the mini catalog, it's in the annual catalog, and it's supposed to come back in stock, I believe December 20th or December 26th. So I would stock up on this. This is good for Christmas. It's good for Valentine's Day. It's good for weddings and anniversaries. And it's good for just your general fancy looking card. So, okay, so what we're going to do here, simple card, so simple. Again, 5.5 by 8.5 inch card. So you get 2 out of 1 sheet of paper. I score them right down the middle at 4 1/4, and then I cut it in 2, and then I've got the second card ready to go whenever I want it. Just my tip of the day for saving some time. This is probably my favorite paper, actually. This makes me think winter and calm and just relaxed and feeling good and all of the above, right? So what I'm going to do, and I'm not a big fan of this paper, this would make a good filler for something, maybe the inside of something if I was going to flip it, but I was trying to flip it. It does not, it's not the same green. Can't flip it. So we're going with the whole sheet of paper. This paper is, again, the same as my basic white timber embossed layer. This is 4 by 5 1/4 inches. So you get 6 out of 1 sheet of paper, so 12 out of the same design out of 1 package. There we go. Just going to attach that. If I was going to put ribbon around that, I might put it around the whole card, or I might put a layer of paper behind here just to give it some stability, but we're not going to, so we will wait on that. I have here a sentiment. This is one of the seasonal labels dies that is part of that suite that I was talking about, the Christmas to Remember. I've got my evening evergreen ink, and I've got my sentiment, may this be a Christmas to remember and cherish. Remember I said that this sounded relaxing and peaceful and everything? Well, cherishing memories, that's something I want to do if I'm thinking of you, right? So I'm going to stand up, and we're going to, I'm going to just trust the shape of this because I didn't put it on the block so that I could trust it. Yeah, it's a little crooked. You know what? I have to do that over. Sorry, not good with that. So let's do this again. And what I'm going to do instead, to make sure that this is right, I'm going to put it on the block so that I can trust the block. Don't I always say that? Put it on the block so you can trust the block. If you don't like, you can see that this is the negative. It doesn't, this one has like a rounded edge. I can't explain it except it has a little bit of a rounded edge. This one, it's kind of the edge is a little bit raised. If you wanted to do this, this is what I would do. Stamp this, and if you're happy with it, and I'm going to trust the block, not the words. Let's see. And we'll see how it goes. I might have 2 duds. Oh, that's a little bit better. Okay, so I could put this back on my Stampin' Cut and Emboss and fit the label right around, and it's going to be a perfect fit. Run it through again, and then that would give me the rounded edge towards the back. So just a hint, if you are using this and it's the back of yours, there is a right and a wrong side with the die cuts. If you want to put it back through, it's really easy to do that. So now what we're going to do is oh, I forgot. I'm going to add this strip of the distressed gold paper. I'm going to add it to the middle. And this distressed gold paper is 5.5 inches long. It's the length of the card. I'm going to put it kind of towards the center. And it's only 1/2 inch wide. So think of how many pieces you could get out of one piece of paper. So don't get rid of your scraps. If you have scraps that are maybe 1 inch wide or 2 inches wide, don't get rid of them. 1/2 inch scraps work really well. And there are lots of cards you can do using scraps. But anyway, that's that. Now I'm going to tie a bow. This looks like a bow that's just kind of arranged behind it. But I'm going to tell you the trick for me was realizing that this worked best tying a bow and just doing it long loops. So long loopy loops under this, and it looks like I just kind of positioned it. So what I'm going to do, you can watch me and hopefully you'll be able to figure out what I do. I take the length and I put it together under my thumb, and then I wrap this around my thumb, and then I have another loop that I'm going to form here, and I pull it through. And then all I do, I think because I was showing you how to do that, it didn't work as well, but let's do that again faster so that I can get these loops to actually stay. So what I'm doing is a nice long loop. Remember I said the loopy loops, just like this. I even want longer than that. Let's see, let me pull this a little bit. Just like that. And if it's not quite as long on this side, I can make up for it on the other side. So let's see. Just like that. I'm going to put it like that. And I'm going to give myself a little tail or a longer tail because I want to be able to see these. And it's a lot easier for me to take away than it is to add. Once this is gone, it's gone. So what I'm going to do is put this under my card. And I think what I'm going to do, and I'm not positive, I think I'm going to try using my glue dots and attaching this. Let's see. There's my glue dots right here. And I'm going to attach it off to the side, kind of like that. And then what I'm going to do is use my dimensionals here, which are right here. And I'm going to pop up the sentiment over top of it. So let's just hope I'm popping up the right side, right guys? I'm really glad you're watching today. I'm sorry I kind of flaked out on you yesterday. I did take a good nap and I felt a lot better last night, but everything wasn't quite ready to go and I just was not quite up to par. So I thought I'd wait till today. Still not quite there, but we're getting there. So anyway, make sure you like and share my video because I love when you guys follow me. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to kind of do it like that. I may have to put a couple more dimensionals there. You know what? I'm going to put a couple more dimensionals. I just don't have quite enough because of the bulk of the ribbon. I'm going to just stick one under here. There we go. Let me peel the top off of this one and stick another one, I think, under here. Ta-da. And yeah, that's almost what I tried to do. Almost, but not quite. Let's just go like this. There we go. That looks a little bit more staggered and random, right? Anyway, there you go. And what I'd probably use are those gold swirl dots that are part of the fitted broccoli suite. We used to have the gilded gold gems. I don't know if you have any of those left. They would look lovely with this. Of course, because of this white ribbon, I think iridescent pearls would look lovely with this as well. So I may have to work at this a little bit just so that this isn't so bumped up. I don't know if there's a... Yeah, maybe I will. Here we go again. Not quite happy with this because it's looking kind of lumpy. Let me put this here and we'll pop that up there and then it doesn't, maybe then it doesn't look quite so lumpy, right? Nothing worse than a lumpy card, right guys? If you don't want to tie the knot, you can certainly randomly zig and zag your ribbon, and that would work just as fine. To me, the easiest thing to keep it in place so it wasn't going to run away on me was to tie the bow. So card number 2, there we go. 4 by 5 1/4 inch layer, 1/2 inch by 5 1/2 inch strip, a sentiment, some ribbon, and voila, you got your next card. Okay, so card number 3, this leaves this for card number 3. Quick and simple, again. I have a 3 3/4 inches by 5 inch piece of designer paper. Let me get my envelope opened. Envelope, please. Don't you feel like we're at the Emmys or the Grammys or something and they're opening the envelope? What's in the envelope? We know what's in the envelope. Okay, so we have our red card base. 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 inches again. I told you already, this designer paper is 3 3/4 inches by 5. Hang on one second, I just need a swallow of water. There we go. And I put it on just 1/8 of an inch larger on each side piece of cardstock. Evening Evergreen. This is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And I'm just going to use a little bit of glue because I'm not a Seal or Seal Plus aficionado. I really can't get them to work. So somebody wants to give me a tutorial sometime, I'd be open to that. Oh boy. So I think that I did not cut down my designer paper. Okay. Wait 1 second. 1 second. Let's see. I already added my glue. It's supposed to be 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches, but it is not. You know what? I have a piece here of, instead of the Painted Christmas, let's use the Boughs of Holly paper. This was not supposed to happen quite like this, but it is what it is. So I don't know what size. I had this paper laying right here. Let's see if this is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Nope, this is probably also 4 by 5 1/4. And then, so 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. I'm going to cut a 1/4 inch off of each side. And then I think, you know, ideally, this would probably be garden green rather than evening evergreen, even though I think you could call that evening evergreen. So we're going to go with it because that's what I have planned. So you have to tell me which one of these 2 cards, when I finish, you like better. I really do love the Painted Christmas. That's also on clearance right now. Not really on clearance. It's on last chance. I don't know if you can get it discounted on it or not. You know, some things on that last chance list are up to 60% off. Seems like everything that I like that I would get at 60% off is not 60% off because it's going fine by itself at the regular price, and they realize that, right? I'm not going to attach this to the paper yet. I'm going to instead use some evening evergreen ribbon, and I'm going to tie that around. And I have to tell you, this is going to be a little tricky. Let's see. It's not going to be a little tricky. I have to do better than I did with this card because you can't even see that jingle bell there. So we're going to try and do it a little bit better. I'm thinking if instead of doing it and tying it into the bow, I'm going to try knotting it first and see if that way. It's a little tricky because then it might not be, we'll see. Okay. Now I've got my jingle bells. I believe they're sold out, but I've got some. And you would, if you bought $35, you would get 6 of these cards. You'd get 2 each of all 3 cards. And you'd have some jingle bells that you could attach to your cards. What I found works best. Let's see if this is going to work. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. The pointy end here. If I can get that in. What works best, I've found, if you're going to thread this through the Jingle Bell, make it a nice sharp point. So there we go. We've got that ready to go through our Jingle Bell. And then I'm just going to use my take your pick tool to kind of feed it through. Does everybody have a take your pick tool? Can anybody survive without it? I'm pretty sure I can't. Not anymore. Okay, so now I'm going to just tie my bow. And let's see if, because I have the knot in here, my Jingle Bell might lay a little bit flatter. This is an exercise. Oh, and you know why my bow is upside down? Because I can't tie a bow right side up. I should have flipped it to have it going the other way. But you know what? I honestly think that I don't care because it's a decent bow and you can see my Jingle Bell, which is the whole idea, right? So what you can do, if this isn't tight enough, you can add a little piece of Scotch tape to each side of here and pull those loops a little tighter. Or what I'm going to do is use my glue. I just kind of move it and spread it, and I'm just going to do it like that. And hopefully, with my glue, it's going to stay put. Let's see. I'm going to tighten it on both ends and lay it down. Yeah, not foolproof. And I think it's because if you guys ever find that you need an extra hand, I was sharing this with my class people the other night. If you find you need an extra hand, because of course we only have 2 hands. If you had 3 hands, you could do this. Our reverse tweezers, which are part of the embossing additions kit, work really well to hold it in place while you tie tighter. So I should have thought of that because mine were right here in front of me and I didn't use them. But anyway, we've got that there. And what we're going to do is stamp our sentiment. And I think I'm going to stamp it in red because I've got so much green going on here. So I'm going to use the same sentiment as I did before about may this be a Christmas to remember and to cherish. I did a really bad job of putting that label on because if I trust the block, it's not straight. But it is what it is. So remember, stay to the side if you want. And the nice thing, I have to tell you, the nice thing about this also is because this is a circle, I can turn it. So, but don't turn it while you're moving it, while you're stamping. Let's try that again. I turned it and I slid it. Ta-da! There we go. Okay, do as I say, not as I do, right? But you've got 2 sides to this. So we're going to use the other side. Nobody knows but you and me. And we're going to add this to our circle. So I've got the decorative circle punch. I believe that this circle is 2 1/8 inches or 2 3/8 inches. Let's see. I'm pretty sure it was yeah, it's 2 3/8. You could definitely get away with 2 1/2 inches if you've got the punch. You can use your punch. But this is 2 3/8, and this is one of the layering circles dies that I used for that. Put that back in there out of the way so I don't hurt myself. And we're going to pop up this again. And we are going to have, uh-oh, I've got a big time tickle coming. Hang on a second. Sorry, guys. All of a sudden I could feel it coming. You know when you try to work around so that you don't cough? I do that when I'm working at the hospital. When you're in with a transplant patient, you don't want to cough on them for sure. And I hold it and I hold it and it just gets worse and worse and worse. Okay, there we go. And maybe we'll just even do it like that. What do you think? Not bad. So you'll have to, oh, shoot. I forgot that I was going to end. You know what? I don't even think it needs it. I was going to add the bows and berries again, bows and berries. This is the bow punch, not the bow punch, because a bow punch would be a ribbon bow. This is the bow punch. I did it because those berries were here. I don't really feel like I need to have it on this card, so we're not going to do it because I forgot it. How about that? So anyway, you'll have to tell me which card you like better there. This is Painted Christmas, still available as far as I know. This is the holly, boughs of holly paper, which I believe is sold out, but hopefully you got some before it went away. I know that everybody that was in my Christmas club got a half a pack one of their times, so they should have a decent amount of paper to make these cards. So anyway, okay, I'm going to flip back and say goodnight to you guys. So good to see you. I'm so glad that you joined me. These cards were nice and simple. Remember, $35 order. Using the host code, which I'm going to post as soon as I get off of here, you can get these cards, 6 of them. But regardless, I gave you the instructions so that you can make them at home using your own. And they're so simple that you can switch out the designer paper. Have a great night, everybody. See you next Thursday. Stay healthy. Bye.